Hello, what Phase 8 is, how it works technically, how it is governed, and how it will be used in real life. Sources: main Phase 8 base.py, Phase 8 core and risk engine docs, identity and governance specs, Phase 8 PDFs and charts bundle. Iron Sidro. Executive Positioning. What Phase 8 AHE Advanced Health Engine is the governed medical intelligence layer of Elisence. It is not a single feature and not a monolithic AI risk score. It is a multi-core health infrastructure that collects signals from multiple domains: women's health, blood tests, diabetes, behavior, devices, environment, etc., normalizes and interprets them in a safe, non-diagnostic, explainable way. Produces simple, calm guidance for citizens, education plus talk to a doctor, style nudges, structured, auditable risk views for clinicians and ministries, charts, heat maps, cohorts, dashboards. Is off by default for high-risk medical features, and only turned on by ministries, governed organizations via explicit feature flags and change control. Phase 8 is where Elisence stops being an app and becomes health infrastructure, per country access rules, per role security, citizen, doctor, clinic, hospital, ministry, unified structured health signals, national-level risk and trend intelligence built to be NHS, EU MDR, FDA, GCC compatible. Its core mission is aligned with what you wrote yourself. Reduce pressure on health systems by catching risk earlier, educating citizens better, and giving clinicians, ministers structured, trustworthy intelligence instead of noise. 1. The 7-core model. How Phase 8 is structure. Phase 8 is explicitly built as 7 governed cores, each with its own risk profile, feature flags, and governance. 1. Core 1. Women, 11K. Women's contextual health knowledge and risk signals. Powered by the Women AHE 11K layer, views V1 plus Women signals engine. Role-aware outputs, citizen, clinician, ministry. 2. Core 2. Blood, hematology. Unified blood schema, AHE blood profile V1. Single source of truth for all blood-related data across Elisence. Non-diagnostic safety logic, anemia risk patterns, bleeding risk hints, platelet clotting awareness, Rh-negative pregnancy risk, etc., used by women, diabetes, GLP-1, medication safety, and the risk engine. 3. Core 3. Diabetes, metabolic, longitudinal tracking of glucose, A1C-related signals, weight, GLP-1 response, adherence, and behavioral factors. Non-prescriptive, does not decide dose or insulin. Instead, it surfaces trends and risk flags for clinicians and the risk engine. 4. Core 4. Mental health and well-being. Mood. Energy signals, connected to dopamine engine and phases 3 and 10. Safety-first escalation rules for worrying patterns, e.g., very low mood plus poor sleep plus behavioral withdrawal. No diagnosis of depression. Anxiety, it only supports safer conversations and escalation. 5. Core 5. Kids and family. Family-level context, guardians, children, shared risk patterns. Connects to Women plus core, e.g. pregnancy, postpartum, baby. Strictly guardian-controlled, designed to be child-safe. 6. Core 6. Environment, weather, context. Non-medical context signals, e.g. heat, pollution, seasonal patterns. Can modulate risk interpretation without becoming a medical device by itself, e.g. high heat, plus heart failure history. 7. Core 7. Charts and intelligence. Population level and cohort analytics, aggregated, anonymized. National dashboards, clinic dashboards, trend charts, AE radar, heat maps. This is where Elisence as infrastructure is most visible to ministries. Each core can be enabled, audited, or disabled independently. They can be reviewed and approved separately by regulators and ministries, and even shut down without taking the whole system offline. This is a deliberate regulatory design where risk is isolated, not blended. Phase 8 carries the heaviest security and governance layer in the Elisence architecture. Every request passes through a session passport or IDP token. These tokens include details like user ID, role, and country code. The country code and access tier decide which features are reachable and which risk outputs are visible. For example, Qatar can have a different activation mix than Saudi Arabia, while both run on the same global engine. We formally distinguish roles between citizens, clinicians, and ministry officials. Each role has different visibility and action rights. For instance, citizens see educational prompts, while doctors see structured risk flags and clinical checklists. We also enforce different authentication strengths, such as mandatory hardware keys for hospital and ministry staff. Finally, our zero-trust architecture ensures no request is trusted by default. Every call must carry a valid, signed session passport. If any detail is missing or expired, the request is rejected before it even enters the logic phase. This ensures Phase 8 never accidentally leaks sensitive information. 3. Women Plus in Phase 8. Women Risk Intelligence and 11K. Although women's health has its own dedicated Phase 7, Phase 8 brings a Women AHE layer, Women 11K, into the unified risk engine and governance world. 3.1 Women AHE Views, Engine AHE Women Views V1PY. The Women AHE module builds role-aware views from women-specific signals. Citizen View, calm, non-diagnostic wording. Emphasizes, this is non-diagnostic educational information and not a diagnosis. For high-risk patterns, it suggests speaking to a health professional soon without naming diseases. Clinician View includes dominant risk level, list of risk flags, data quality assessment, and a pathway checklist, such as review symptom severity and pattern, review menstrual and reproductive history as relevant, check recent blood tests where available, e.g. FBC-HBs, consider local guidelines for further assessment or referral. This is where refer to doctor is turned into a structured, auditable checklist. Ministry View. Aggregated. How many cases? What severity distribution? Where data quality gaps are? No, PII. This is for planning programs, not diagnosing people. If the role is unknown, the engine fails safely by falling back to the citizen view. 3.2 Women Risk Intelligence, Women 11K plus blood plus signals. Women's Risk Intelligence in Phase 8 combines Women's Symptom Heart Event signals from Phase 7 normalization. Blood, hematology hints, e.g. anemia risk, platelets. Pregnancy context, Rh negative information. Behavioral data, sleep, energy, where available. Outputs. Citizen education in soft language. Clinician checklists with explicit, this is not a diagnosis posture. Ministry snapshots about population patterns, e.g. high rates of heavy bleeding signals in specific regions. At no point does the engine say, you have endometriosis, you have X disease. It says, there are stronger patterns. Talk to a professional with structured context for that professional. 4. Blood, hematology as governance backbone. The blood and hematology core is one of the most strategically important parts of Phase 8 because it becomes the single, governed backbone for blood data. 4.1 Unified Blood Schema, Central Model, AHE Blood Profile, 1x1. All blood data, from labs, devices, imports, is normalized into this schema. The same profile is reused by Women's Health Pathways, Diabetes and GLP-1, Medication Safety, the Risk Engine. This avoids the classic failure, where each module invents its own blood model. 4.2 Active Features, on, safe to use. Examples of capabilities that are already implemented and safe, read-only blood summaries for end users. Non-diagnostic warnings, e.g. pattern suggests lower blood levels, please ask your doctor about anemia. Rh-negative pregnancy risk flags, e.g. heavy bleeding in Rh-negative women. Usage as internal signals for risk engine and other cores. Provenance and worm audit logging when enabled. Export endpoints for clinicians' AHE ministries under strict governance. 4.3 implemented but intentionally off H1, H4 style controls. Several advanced features are fully designed and coded, but off ministry dashboards, aggregated heat maps of blood risk by region, national benchmarks and league tables, automated cohort builders, e.g. anemia in pregnancy, interoperability bridges, full LOINC mapping, etc. Why off? They require national-level policies, aggregation rules, anonymization thresholds, retention rules. They could cross safer boundaries if enabled without ministry supervision. Turning them on is a political and regulatory decision, not a technical one. Activation pattern, feature flags, environment variables, plus documented change control. Evidence that tests are green and behavior is 200-503 as expected. Ministry sign-off before dashboards become visible. Blood core therefore proves your sentence. The blood core therefore proves your point. It is a fundamental part of the system's governed medical infrastructure, and several advanced components, such as H1, H2, are intentionally kept in the off state. These modules remain disabled because they require explicit ministry-level approval, national policy alignment, validated anonymization thresholds, and full governance and safety review before activation. In other words, the architecture prevents premature or unsafe activation and ensures that sensitive analytics only become available when the legal, clinical, and regulatory conditions are met. 5. Risk engine, our own method, not copying Oxford. Investors and clinicians often ask, is this just another black box AI score copied from somewhere? Phase 8's risk engine is deliberately not a clone of Oxford, CRISC, or any single academic score. 5.1 Clinical Logic Strategy. The risk engine focuses on major conditions: cardiovascular, heart attack, stroke, hypertension, metabolic, type 2 diabetes and complications, kidney disease, CKD, chronic liver disease and metabolic liver damage. Combines demographics, age, sex, etc. Long-term risk factors: BP, diabetes, cholesterol, BMI, smoking, alcohol, family history. Behavioral data: sleep, steps, weight trends. Symptoms: pro events. Phase 7 women plus future kids, family. Blood signals from blood core. Medication patterns, phase 1 to 4. Instead of one opaque model, it uses rule-based clinical logic, grounded in guidelines, e.g. NHS NICE-style thinking, explainable probability estimations and traffic light levels for clinicians, soft, non-alarming language for citizens. Where external models are referenced, they are used as inspiration and sanity checks, not as blind copies. The architecture is built so that you can plug in national risk algorithms, e.g. a country-approved stroke score, later. But today, the engine keeps outputs explainable and non-diagnostic. 5.2 Separation of citizen versus clinician outputs, clinicians and ministries. C. More detailed risk levels. Trend charts, slices by cohort, age band, gender, region. Signals used, so they can judge clinical reasonableness. Citizens. C. No percentages. No. You are high risk of heart attack in 10 years, style scare messages. Only safer behavior prompts. More walking, better sleep, talk to doctor, check blood tests. This separation keeps the engine clinically useful, without turning the citizen app into an unregulated medical device. 6. GI, organs, stroke, and system-wide intelligence. 6.1 GI and organ signals. While GI is not a separate core, its effects are integrated. Symptoms such as abdominal pain, bowel habit changes, unexplained weight loss, appetite changes, nausea, etc. are part of the PRO and Symptoms V2 mapping in risk engine docs. Combined with blood and other signals, these become pattern hints, not diagnoses, e.g., this pattern needs clinical review. The GI dimension matters because many chronic diseases, liver, metabolic, inflammatory, appear first through GI symptoms plus lab abnormalities. Elisence treats these as signals to be escalated to clinicians, not conditions to be diagnosed in-app. 6.2 stroke, neuro, H2, phase 8 contains a neuro, H2V1 block with logic around, fast style thinking, face, arm, speech, time. Combination with blood pressure, risk factors where available. High caution around red flag symptoms, time sensitivity, key points. Stroke logic is feature flag controlled, neuro HAN2 enabled. Citizen outputs never say you are having a stroke. Instead, at strong patterns, guidance escalates urgently, e.g., call emergency services, urgent evaluation, without naming diseases explicitly. Clinician Ministry views can show counts of red flag stroke-like patterns, links to guidelines for local triage policies. This is our own explainable, governed approach, not a blind copy of any university algorithm. 7. Data handling, storage, and the unified encrypted vault. Phase 8 assumes that all sensitive health data sits in a unified encrypted data layer, not scattered across random services. Core principles: encryption at rest and in transit. Databases use industry-standard encryption. TLS everywhere between clients, APIs, and internal services. Unified health profile. Blood, women plus, diabetes, devices, symptoms, risk outputs, all mapped into coherent schemas. This supports safe analytics, Core 7, and future ministry research collaboration. Worm audit logging. Critical events, ingest, risk evaluation, dashboard views can be recorded in append-only logs. This provides an evidence trail for regulators and internal audits. GDPR, PDPL-style governance, separation of identifiers versus clinical data, clear purposes for each processing operation, care versus analytics versus research, compatibility with anonymized, K-anonymous exports for ministries and research programs. This is what you described as the unified, fully encrypted vault that transforms Elisence from an app into a governed medical-grade infrastructure with controlled on-off switches fully managed by national authorities. 8. Charts and intelligence, Core 7 as the national radar. The Charts and Intelligence Core is where investment in Phase 8 visibly pays off for countries and providers. From the charts bundle and KPI specs, risk trend lines for diabetes, cardiovascular, kidney, etc. Cohort comparisons by region, age, band, gender, BMI band, medication type. Women plus specific charts, patterns of heavy bleeding, pelvic pain, pregnancy signals, aggregated, impact of interventions, education campaigns, new clinics. All charts obey K-anonymity rules, small cohorts are hidden, insufficient data. Role and country restrictions, citizen cannot see them. Clinics see local views. Ministries see national, regional dashboards. Feature flags, advanced analytics, e.g. national hemoglobin maps, remain off until policy and governance are in place. Investor message: this is the commercial and public health vitrine of Phase 8, but it is built from the ground up for compliance, not marketing screenshots. 9. Medical versus non-medical modes, on-off by design. Phase 8 follows the same philosophy as Phase 7, but extended to full AHE. Non-medical mode, default. Education, well-being, self-management prompts. Safe lifestyle suggestions. No diagnoses, no treatment decisions. Safe for immediate citizen deployment. Medical adjacent mode, restricted. Structural risk intelligence. Near clinical summaries for doctors. Dashboards and cohort analytics for ministries. Every sensitive engine, e.g. Women 11K, blood core dashboards, stroke H2, is guarded by feature flags, ENV vars. Defaults to off, returns controlled 503 with structured message, Module disabled by feature flag. Only turned on by correct environment configuration, passing compile checks and tests, documented change control, activation recorded, governance approval, ministry, health system. Therefore, no investor or regulator is being asked to trust us blindly. They are being asked to trust the architecture, the kill switches, the fail-closed behavior, the audit trail. 10. How different stakeholders use. Phase 8 10.1 Citizens use Elisence as a calm companion for weight and GLP-1 journey. Women's health questions, sleep, mood, activity. A guide that explains signals in everyday language, encourages earlier, structured contact with clinicians, never pretends to be a doctor. 10.2 Doctors to clinics use. Phase 8 as a structured intake and risk context layer. They receive summarized risk flags and data quality indicators. They can see which signals are driving the risk assessments. A time saver. Less time spent reconstructing history. More time on clinical decision and patient conversation. 10.3 Hospitals use Phase 8 as a hospital-scale intelligence dashboard for chronic conditions and readmission risk, a way to target limited resources, e.g. specialist clinics. Track impact of interventions. 10.4 Ministries, untold governments use Phase 8 as a national radar for chronic disease and women's health, a platform where they can decide what to enable, when, and for whom. They can require stricter guards, e.g. no mental health analytics or no stroke insights until internal review is done. They can run pilots in selected regions first. This maps exactly to your intent. Elisence is designed to reduce the pressure on healthcare systems, not to replace them. 11. Investor Q&A, answering the suspicious future-oriented questions. Is this a medical device already? Does it diagnose or prescribe? A. No. Phase 8 is designed as medical-adjacent infrastructure. Citizen outputs are strictly non-diagnostic and non-prescriptive. Clinician Ministry outputs are decision support, not autonomous decisions. The design aligns with NHS, EU MDR, FDA CDS expectations for bounded decision support. Q2. If one core fails, e.g. diabetes, does everything collapse? A. No. Each core is independently governed. Failure in core 3, diabetes, does not make blood core or women core unsafe. Cores can be isolated or temporarily disabled with feature flags. The risk engine is built to handle missing inputs gracefully, not with catastrophic failure. Q3. Are you copying Oxford or other proprietary cardiac stroke algorithms? A. No. The clinical logic is multi-factor: symptoms, behavior, blood, medication, demographics. Rule-based and explainable. Designed to be compatible with guidelines and open frameworks. Where external scores are referenced, they are inspiration and mapping targets, not proprietary clones. Countries may plug in their approved algorithms later. Q4. How do you control which country sees what? A. Through API gateway enforcing session passport with country dump code and access tier. Feature flags per country, deployment. Whitelisted roles and dashboards. Qatar can have women's education plus limited risk insights. Saudi can choose a different mix. Another country can start with only diabetes and blood. Q5. How do you avoid AI hallucination? A. Phase 8. Does not rely on generative AI for safety-critical logic. Uses deterministic rules and curated content as the primary engine. AI, if used, is bounded to summarizing existing content, adjusting tone, helping with UX copy, not changing risk level or adding new facts. Q6. What if regulators say turn everything off now? A. The architecture supports. Immediate feature flag shutdown, per core, per country, per role. Kill switches for specific dashboards. Degradation to pure education mode with no risk outputs. Q7. Where is the business model? While this document is technical, Phase 8 clearly supports national licenses per country, AHE Ministry, hospital and network licenses for advanced dashboards, clinician tools layered on top, paid pro features, future research partnerships using anonymized K-anonymous cohorts. 12. What Phase 8 does not claim. Phase 8 does not claim to replace doctors, clinics, hospitals, or national health systems, provide automated diagnosis or treatment, offer fully autonomous emergency triage, be a certified medical device in all jurisdictions today. Instead, it positions Elisence as a governed, explainable risk and intelligence layer that sits beside health systems, a way to reduce pressure on clinicians by preparing citizens and structuring data, a future-proof platform that can move towards higher regulatory classes when countries are ready. 13. Final position statement. Phase 8 is the heart of Elisence. Technically, multi-core, risk-aware, zero-trust, 5-language ready. Clinically, aligned with safe, explainable decision support. Governance-wise, per country, per role, per feature flag control. Strategically, transforms Elisence from a health app into national-grade health infrastructure. It is ready to pilot with ministries in Qatar, Saudi, and other GCC countries. Support hospitals and clinics in managing chronic disease, women's health, and blood safety. Convince even the most cautious investor that risk is understood, governance is built in, and scaling can be done safely, gradually, and profitably.